All right, now you've worked on this.
You know I love you, but I screw up your name every single time. Joe Mantegna.
Perfect.
Got
Hey,
it.
that for you, that's good.
That's for me. That's an A+.
Yes. You were Mantegna on a promo the other day.
I screwed it up 17
You know
different
what?
ways.
My dad pronounced it Mantegna because it was
See?
simpler.
Right
But
here.
when I have so many relatives in Italy, and if you say Mantegna to them, they go,
it's a
"Che fai
disgrace.
Mantegna, Mantegna."
It's a disgrace.
So, yeah.
Faccia brutta.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay. All right, so that's clean, by the way, what I said. in
Yes,
case you're
it was.
wondering.
I hope so.
All right.
Anyway, Criminal Minds, you've been on it forever and got just picked up again, part of this elite squad of FBI profilers that analyze the country's most twisted, disturbing criminal minds, anticipating their very next move before they can strike again. Here's Joe at work.
Federal penitentiary. Technically, it is on our watch.
A privately owned penitentiary outsourced by the DOJ.
How'd you meet this guy?
At a conference in D.C., he was a lobbyist for the same company that owns the prison.
Why go from a lobbyist on the Hill to a prison warden in East Texas?
Apparently, he got a nice salary package for taking the job, and now he's in over his head.
2,000 inmates, and probably half of them already in there for violent crimes. Well, the good news and the bad news is we've already got our suspect pool.
Pretty relaxed there, aren't you?
You know, I'm going to my 9th year there. If I'm not relaxed now, I'll never
So
be.
you're not the replacement any longer.
No, I'm
right?
not the replacement any longer.
Okay, it's good to see you again. as
Great to
always.
see you.
Always nice.
We're going to talk about why you're here and not necessarily the show.
Right.
You're doing an event,
Yeah.
which is called
It's called Temple Grandin and Friends. And those are familiar with Temple Grandin, Claire Danes did that wonderful movie on
yeah.
HBO about her. She's a woman with autism who she's the poster girl for basically
and opened a
woman
lot of
for
minds
autism.
to
Exactly. And so this event called Temple Grandin and Friends will be at the Nokia Center on Wednesday the 20th. And this thing called Autism Works Now. In other words, they're trying to encourage a lot of these different companies to take advantage of the skills that a lot of these people have with autism.
Because they're really underemployed, right?
Yeah, very much so. And then you have Microsoft has stepped up. There's other companies now that have stepped up that have realized that these people, they may have, you know, I don't want to say handicap, but they have, you know, let's say deficiency in a certain area due to the autism. But yet on the other hand, they have abilities that in a way exceed
and can be
our
super
own.
proficient at certain areas.
Exactly.
And you make the point that a lot of other people who have issues are employed with other kinds of physical issues, developmental issues, et cetera. Autism, it's more problematic.
Exactly right. And also, and obviously there's so much emphasis on, you know, with so many kinds of things like this with the children, like what we can do to you know, alleviate the problem when they're children. But what we forget is these children become adults, and they're adults for a lot longer than they are kids.
And they're graduating high school. How many thousands graduate high school?
Yes.
And
they're not going anywhere, and they need to go somewhere.
Your daughter, this is something that's close to your heart because of
Yes.
what you've gone through with your daughter, and she's functioning
She's
unbelievably
yeah,
so.
she's doing very well. She was, I think, the only graduate from there's a makeup school called the Mud School, which is, and she graduated from the Mud School because she had this fascination with makeup. And so there's, oh, she's on the screen there.
Look at her.
She's 28. She's 28 years old now, and
look at you, yeah.
Look at her.
yeah,
Oh, she's
and
adorable.
She's,
yeah.
she's doing very well. I mean, we're fortunate. I mean, she's always going to need some sort of a protected environment. She's always going to need a little, you know, help along the way.
But she can do her job. So there's a spectrum, as you know, and it's very hard to say where people fall on the spectrum, what they're capable of. We don't have all that worked out, do we?
No, we don't have that worked out. But hopefully, as you know, like everything else. Look, when we were kids, there was that polio thing. It was like don't even step in a
don't
puddle.
Go in the water.
That's
going
to give you polio. But now,
Yeah.
you know, that's almost become a thing of the past.
Also, Ed Asner is involved in this event.
Ed Asner, his son Matt. I mean, they're very active in the autism community.
His son is active within the organization as well.
Yeah.
This seems to be right now, I don't know, a condition that has come to the fore.
Yeah, well, partly because it's become so prevalent. When my daughter was diagnosed over 25 years ago, it was something like 1 in maybe 1,600 births.
Right.
Now it's like, in some instances, it's less than 1 in every less than 100.
When they told you at that time, what was going through your mind?
Well,
you thought,
as you can imagine, you know, there's that moment where your heart just drops into your stomach, but yet then you have a choice. Well, do I go this way with it, where I kind of like pretend it doesn't happen and do what I can to deny it, or we go the other way and say, well, this is
So
the
25
situation.
years,
What do we do?
yeah, what was available for your daughter then?
Certainly not as much as is available now. I mean, but there was the beginning of it. I think
Yes.
it was the stirrings of that. Hey, we have a name for this thing now, and we understand that, you know, what they would consider maybe some sort of a, you know, quirkiness about, you know, it depends where it fell in on the spectrum.
Did the two of you look at each other and say, what did we do wrong? Did you go through that?
Oh, there's a moment of that. I mean, you know, there's always that thing, and there was different kinds of crazy theories. They would say that, oh, it's due to this environmental problem, or because the mother was not, you know, doing something at a certain time during her pregnancy, and all of that's been disproven. And now, obviously, there's hopefully they're getting close to figuring it out.
Yes, yes, and of course you have the whole vaccination issue.
There was that, you know,
Yeah.
but you know, and there are people who are going to still, you know, be affected by whether.
All right. Before you go, I always like to once in a while tell people something they should see.
Okay.
You did a movie called House
of Games.
House of Games.
A David Mamet movie, which is one of the. I got a shot here. There it goes. It is one of the great mind-changing movies, and you know, if you're looking for a movie to see, yeah, my full recommendation. This is a great movie. It's great for you as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
All
And
right.
also, I wanted to tell you, I saw Roy Firestone backstage.
He's back
Oh,
here,
no.
yeah.
And there was a guy, this Ivan Putski, walked in.
Oh, stop it!
He
I
wants a
know.
rematch. He was.
Now I know what Roy's doing.
He was yelling at Roy,
Now
and he
I-
says he wants a rematch. And I said, I had to break him up. I had to push him apart. I said, wait a minute.
I
wait
once
a minute.
wrestled in front of 9,000 people. I now know what you're doing, Roy. I now know what you're doing.
Don't
That's
tell
coming
it.
up.
Oh, it's going to be
All right.
good.
We'll be back.